Cheers to everyone for watching. My name is Mitchell of the Stereo Picture Society. This is the channel where I review Canadian albums, and today I'm going to be reviewing the recent Snotty Nose Rez Kids album, TRAPLINE. The Snotty Nose Rez Kids are Quinton Nice, aka Young Tribes, and Darren Metz, aka Young D. They're Haisla Indigenous hip-hop artists from Kitimaat Village, BC, and are currently based in Vancouver. They have put out 2 full-length albums in 2017, and TRAPLINE is the third installment from the duo. They've had multiple hits on Canadian Indigenous radio as well, especially the song Skoden, which is a play on Let's Go Then. This is a tag word that has become pretty prominent in Indigenous culture now. But their second album, The Average Savage, is one of my favorite hip-hop albums to come out over the last couple of years, where Darren and Quinton dive neck-deep into the exploitative themes of Native culture. The skits on this were informative and funny. The rapping was at points hilarious and very, very energetic, which is why on my 2018 Polaris Top 10 video I rated it as number 1. Even though that year it went to Jeremy Dutcher in his project Walasaki Wakinawa, which is a beautiful album you should check out too. So now heading into TRAPLINE, I was expecting a lot from the duo. I like their lead single Into This, Creator Made an Animal. It features a rapper named Boslin who kicks off the song with a very bouncy flow. And I think as far as the album goes, this is a great example of self-celebration, and also for the production to be responding to Young D and Young Tribe's verses. Young D has a very gritty and energetic flow for the second part of this track, and the production bounces in and out at that tail end of his verses to provide some hype. And I also like when the highs on the production come in as Young Tribe's verse ascends in aggression. As far as production and performances go, the best of them land on the first third of this album, taking in mind that this album is an hour long. One of my favorite tracks being Son of a Matriarch, featuring the sorority. It has a hell of a verse from them kicking off the track, as well as a great sticky melodic hook, and the two groups combined create a track that elevate the status of hardworking women and mothers. One of the opening tracks on here features Nunavut throat singer Tanya Tagak, and though she adds a haunting quality to this track Rebirth, I wished for more of her production and more of a feature from her. But one of the kickoff lines is, "We're drumming our drums as usual, we're singing our songs as suitable, we do it together, it's beautiful." It's a great line to kick off the overarching theme of self-celebration and pride that we see on this album. I also really like the track Loft Stride featuring Kitimaat. The production on this thing with the frog croaks and the lazy trumpet kind of references the production that we hear on The Average Savage, as Darren and Quinton make their way through this track talking about representing love through fashion and differences in style. I thought this was a track that was more about enjoying the thought-provoking lyrics of the duo as opposed to the club vibe that is seen through the first few songs so far. And going back to the production, I think this is one of my main criticisms for the album. It can typically be described as either keyboards or trumpets with some synth bass and mostly trap production. This sounds really good on the song Savage Mob, which comes later, as the duo provides much stronger lyrics and better performances. Tribes and his nasally voice is providing a good contrast in tone from where Young D had started the song. Also, I have no reference to how to identify Young D and Young Tribes. I just hear Young D reference himself in 2 moments of the track list, so I just kind of go off of that. If I have it wrong, you guys, I'm sorry. There are many songs on the second half, such as Crazy, Aliens vs. Indians, Urban Legend, where the lyrics run pretty thin as far as celebration goes. I liked the vibe for most of the song Hooligan featuring Brevner, but Brevner's bridge hook about starting a riot on the street I just didn't vibe with. I'm sure that wasn't what the Rez Kids were trying to evoke with this, as they were talking about like killing them with their beats as opposed to like actually starting a political riot. I also was really turned off with Brevner's hook on the song Hunger Games. In the Rez Kids verses, I was getting a message of like wrong assumptions and labeling and just how powerful that can be. But Brevner's tacked on a hook about like a big booty and a fast car is just not the form of celebration that the Rez Kids were going for at all with this album or their last two. It was the exact vibe that they were trying to write away from with those albums, and it just wasn't landing for me on this at all. We close off the album with the song Yak Su Yak, which again brings back the trumpet trap beat and more indigenous pride. And I wish for a better conclusion to this album, to be honest. I felt that this song could have been swapped out for something in the mid section of the album. And I wish for a closing track that would tie everything together instead of subliminally addressing everything that they've been celebrating up to this point. There are many skits that also appear on this album to transition songs and to provide cooldowns. I liked the one near the closer called Nolak Nolak Nolak, where we have this old female narrator talking about using that Nolak phrase to express gratitude to the natural world. I did not like the no bait skit where we have this young girl reciting poetry. It was almost as if she was performing it instead of just saying it casually like the other narrators and poets that we hear on this. And through these skits, I don't think we got a clear understanding of what the trapline is. It's said to be some area of land from what the opening skit had told us, but I think this could have been a big theme to have tied into Celebration if the Res Kids wanted to. But I don't think an outsider to this album would be able to see that theme of the trapline and of Celebration and connect the two. Overall, I'm kind of split on how to see this album, which is why I haven't reviewed it in a month since it came out. On one hand, this is an hour-long project about celebrating oneself and one's culture, and that in its own is a source of strength. But on the other hand, to shave off this album of its thinner, weaker lyrics to provide a stronger album, as well as to provide a more accessible listening experience, forms its own different sense of strength, and that's been a running theme that I've searched for the albums that I review. I say that knowing that it takes away from the party and celebration aspect of this album. I'm still very much looking forward to what the Snotty Nose Res Kids are going to pull from their hats next, and I hope that they can ride this phase of celebration and tour really hard on the road, but still come back to write a tighter album with a stronger overarching theme, and hopefully with a different and stronger sense of production as well. So I'm feeling a decent to strong 6 on this album, and I'll leave it at that. If you like what I had to say about Trapline, you can go ahead, like this video, commenting on it with some arguments or praise. You can subscribe to the channel, and you can go ahead and share with your friends. I think it's very cool already that the Res Kids have dropped an album where they share the many talents of the indigenous hip-hop community. So go ahead and do that yourself. My name is Mitchell of the Stereo Picture Society. Cheers again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.